Alright, so what do you think of when you hear the word gymnast or gymnastics? What comes to mind? Would it be our Olympic Beijing team, Nastia Lukin, or Alicia Sacramone, or maybe Sean Johnson, or maybe Nadia, the great Nadia, who made perfect 10 look easy? Or perhaps just Olympic athletes is what you think of. Well, when today I would like to reveal to you about the gymnastics you don't see on TV or in the news. I'm going to give you a little bit more depth on it. And many of you have watched competitive gymnastics during the Olympics, and this may be all that you know, but today I want to go into more towards more formal with you and my relatives. And I am myself a modern gymnast, which I'll explain later what that is. And I have experience with that, and just good friends I have who are like competitive gymnasts. I'll talk about this more. But today I'm going to talk about the levels of gymnastics, the training, and the lifestyle. Okay. Okay, so levels. Okay, starting out with gymnastics starts levels 1 through 3. And you train for 1 to 6 hours, and it can be ages from 3 till, And the basic, components of that, they work on flexibility, they do like handstands, cartwheels, all the basics, a little bit of tumbling. And then they move on to levels 4 and 6. This is when they first start competing. This is actually one of my friends who I interviewed, Susan Vermeyen, right here. And she uses her gymnastics in her competing for different things. 4 through 6 elaborates more on the techniques of it, and moving on to level 7 and 10, these are very strict levels. These levels prepare you for elite levels. And elite levels, in these levels you work on like uneven bars. I know many of you know what those are. You've probably seen in the Olympics. And they're called giants. Giants relate to the uneven bars. And the elite is the top. They're the Olympic athletes. They're, Nastia Lukin. I'm sure you guys maybe know who she is, which I had a picture of earlier. And then a lot of gymnasts fall in the category of modern. And that's me. Modern gymnasts. These are the gymnasts who just maybe take a class, just do it for fun, teach themselves. They just fall in that category and they do it for like a hobby or something. And so these would be the levels that everyone would be qualified under. Okay? And going on the main components of training, the two top ones would be flexibility and strength. Flexibility is really crucial because it takes out the toxins, it gets rid of the acid after working out, and it lengthens your muscles, so when you need to make that long reach, you can. Also, throughout time, as you age, it keeps the muscles consistently. They're not shorter, so you're all tight and you can't move, but it keeps you sane. And also, your joints are able to move more, than usual, because there's a lot of different techniques that you need to do that requires that. Strength. Strength is another one. If you look at the picture here, looks really hard, but these kids are doing it. Strength is a big one. As you see, you need it to perform various skills. It's a must-do. If you don't have all the strength, you're not going to be able to do it. And it helps balancing your body. Doing these exercises with strength, it tells you to focus on balancing your body as you're doing these things. Focus on working it. And it can build mental strength. As you're doing more reps of whatever, of the training, the strength training, you're just mentally telling yourself, I can do this. Keep going. Keep going. So it's a big thing for gymnasts. They have to do a lot. And then their bodies are lighter and tighter. What I mean by that is when they build all this muscle, they're able to keep it tight. But when they're doing their stunts, they're able to stick it, as you guys hear. Maybe like the movie. And using both of those, when you put those two components together, you can really do something great performance. It really helps you know, push yourself out there, and prevents injuries and many others. Okay, moving on to lifestyles. This is the last one, lifestyles of gymnasts. They have very interesting lifestyles. Most who are very serious in competing, they do homeschooling, either at the gym or with their parents. But it's hard because, you know, elite athletes, they practice 25 to 40 hours a week, and they do school, whatever they need to do. They need to get their education, so it's difficult, and it can be stressed. These are the up and downs. It can be stressed if your parents are doing it. You get frustrated. On the other hand, your parents can really get to know who you are and know how to work with you and maybe build something there. That's another upside. Public schools. My friend, Ryan, as you saw on the picture before, she went to public school, but when she first went into public school, she was very quiet to herself. She just wanted to get out of school, finish what she's doing, go to the gym, work, you know. And but she says from our interview, she doesn't regret one bit of public school because she's made so many friendships that, you know, she really cherishes. So, family and friends. Family is like your team. Your friends is like your fans, like the people who watch you come to see you. You know, but you can consider them as family as well. But doing this is like a different life. Like you're involving different people. You're not seeing, you know, so many various people. You're just in the gym. Okay. So, going back to this, and so as I talked about the different levels, the training, and the lifestyles of a gymnast, you can see that now you can see as an informal sport, like you know it, it's relative to you. It's not like the commercialized gymnastics you see with the Olympics. So now if you think twice about gymnastics or gymnasts, you can see them as just hardworking, talented people.
All right, Josh, what did you think?
I thought her thesis statement I really didn't get, because it sounded like she was going to talk about gymnastics, and then she was talking about modern gymnastics, so I think the blending of the two kind of confused me, but when she got into the main body of it, it started to make a lot more sense, because she was going through talking about the process of the gymnastics and the different levels, but then she went back to the Olympic gymnastics, so yeah, I think it needed to be a bit more tightly structured and focusing on just the one or just the other, or like, you know, stating what the differences are between the two. But other than that, it was pretty good. Your delivery was good. Like, you started off pretty strong and not looking at your notes, and you were constantly, you know, pointing out the visuals and explaining them well. So I think it went pretty well.
All right, let's start with a couple of those things that went well. I thought that you used the posters to try and give us a transition from one point to another so that it's always clear where you are in the speech. That gives us a good signpost on those things. There was a good structure at the start of the speech for the presentation. I thought that your attention device, the rhetorical question, and the picture were okay. The picture that you have on that first poster is a little bit small, but of course if I thought that was small, I was in for a treat, because some of the other images are incredibly small. Now you'll be able to see a little bit of them on the video when you watch it, because I zoomed up close to see it. You know, I've got whatever it is, you know, 12-time optical zoom on this. I still couldn't make out any of the writing on a couple of those images from, you know, back here. You know, so it's just they're too small to use. This is problematic. You needed to get out. You know, if you want to use the posters, that's fine. Get yourself out marks a lot and write out the words bigger or something, because it just is too hard to see that little print that you've got on those things. I was a little confused, because it sounded to me like you were going to be focusing on these other levels, and then it really came back to the kind of commitment that somebody has to make to participate in gymnastics at an elite level. You're talking about kids being homeschooled in that last section, and that doesn't sound to me like it's the levels that you're talking about, 1, 2, and even that third level. It sounds more like it's people who are making a serious commitment. Their parents are dragging them to the gym, or they're dragging their parents to the gym, and that's where they got to spend all that time. The only citation that I really got distinctly in the presentation, it sounded like you did an interview with a friend of yours who is involved in this at a more elite level. Otherwise, it just sounds sort of like it's descriptive of what you've been able to observe from the way you participate in the process, which is a good starting point, but I don't think that it's developed as clearly as it needs to be, and we need some additional content on it. The presentation issues,